Another weekend in the FIA Formula E World Championship done and dusted. The first two ever races here in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia on the adapted Formula One circuit. We also saw the debut of Pit Boost, more on that in just a second. But after race one, it was Maximilian Günther winning his first race for DS Penske. A huge move coming into the final corner on an energy-depleted Oliver Rowland for the Nissan Formula E team. Gave the German the victory. Oliver Rowland finished second, with Taylor Barnard, the surprise success story, the rookie driver for Neil McLaren, finishing third again for the second time this season. And I spoke to Maximilian Günther after the second race, which unfortunately didn't finish, to make sure he focused on the positives of the weekend.
I knew we have good pace and that we can finish the race in the top 3, top 5, but I mean, you can never plan it. I mean, it happens. It comes towards you if you do everything right. And yeah, obviously we tried to put ourselves in a good position. The race was pretty tough. At one point we were in P9 after the pit stops, but we just kept a cool mind and moved forward and won it. So that was amazing.
So big success for the German driver Maximilian Günther, finishing the race ahead of Oliver Rowland with Taylor Barnard in third. This was the first time we saw the long-awaited Pit Boost in Formula E, a 600 kilowatt charge, giving the cars a 10% boost in just 30 seconds and a mandatory pit stop. It was maybe dealt with a little apprehension before the racing started, and Jake Dennis from Andretti told me what he thought of Pit Boost after its first deployment here in Jeddah.
I didn't mind it. I quite like the idea. It made that race very more exciting because it would have been very dull. The energy what we had was extremely high, which means no one was overtaking anyone. Whereas that made it, a lot more exciting, different strategy. Ultimately, it cost me the race. Obviously, the failure came from the pit boost, so that sucked. But I do think it will be good.
And it was the 2023 world champion Jake Dennis that had a storming drive but just missed out on a podium in the second race of the weekend. There was no pit boost in that race, and in fact it was an all-British top 3, with Jake Dennis finishing fourth, making it an all-British top 4. Oliver Rowland making up for the slight energy miscalculations in the first race of the weekend to take his second victory of the season. Ahead of Taylor Barnard, he's making his way up. He's had a third place 2 times, he's had a second place. How far is that win? Well, I can't imagine it's too far away now. And Jake Hughes got his third place, his first podium for his new team, Maserati MSG Racing. And I caught up with Jake Hughes after the race to see how he was feeling.
Towards the end of last season, I was getting on top of things with the previous team. And when you decide to change team, there's an element of risk in that, right? These cars are very complicated, and to extract the most out of them, you need to understand everything that you have, as a tool set. And the team have prepared me super well, but there's always a part of your brain that wonders if you're extracting the most out of it at all times. And you come this weekend, and I get into the duels both occasions, and I'm free racing the points. Top 5 and a podium. It's just confirmation that we're doing the right thing, and I'm doing the right thing, and we're on the good path.
And going into a bit of a break. I know we can't call it a break in the season because it's not technically, but there's a few weeks off now. It must be good to go into that thinking, reflecting on the first 4 races and knowing that things are going in the right direction.
Yeah, I'd much rather go into this break with a podium than a DNF, excuse me. So yeah, I think we have a lot of data to go through, not least the first pit boost race in Formula E history data to go through, which we probably didn't execute the best of our ability yesterday. So we have plenty of time to look through that, so we will do that and make most out of it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to racing in Miami and hopefully standing on the podium again.
A big weekend for Jake Hughes and the Maserati MSG Racing team. A British top 4 for the first time in Formula E history. I don't know how long it's going to be before that's replicated. We've got a long time now until the next race. The next race is on April the 12th at Homestead in Miami, another new track to the championship. In between that, we have something called the Evo Sessions coming up very soon. I suggest you follow the talkSPORT driving YouTube channel to find out more about that. Some big names taking part to see if they can become Formula E drivers themselves. And also check out the talkSPORT website right now for a chat with Dan Tickton from the Cupra Kiro team on their new investor, a certain Idris Elba. You may just have heard of him. We'll be back with live commentary of the next race at Homestead in Miami. It's a famous NASCAR circuit, and I can't wait to see what these Gen 3 Evo cars can do as Formula E returns to America on the 12th of April.